Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next video. And which I would do now again to my top worst films of 2020. Which this is the first time I actually I don't actually have a full list this time. So this is gonna be I'm gonna list only my top 5. So this is only gonna be my top 5 worst films of 2020. Although I do have some honorable mentions though, but to me it's not worth putting in a top 10 because the films are just like these were not good at all. So did get me full on mad. So it's not worth putting making it into a top 10 because I'm not gonna always gonna continue going on and on about it. So I'm just gonna cut it short for especially this year. Last year was so shitty, so that's why I think it's gonna make it only having a top 5 that I really hated. So, but honorable mentions go to was Birds of Prey, which wasn't a fan of Suicide Squad though, but Margot Robbie, she was one of the highlights in Suicide Squad as Harley Quinn. But I mean, and just really quick that she wasn't bad acting as Harley Quinn in this movie though. And honestly, the best part of the film was actually Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. Really enough, he was like the best part of the movie as the villain. But honestly, to me, this wasn't worth for Harley Quinn to carry on her own film. To me, I don't think so. She's just better in the supporting role. So, but yeah, Birds of Prey. Something with of Harley Quinn. Nah, wasn't it? Not a fan. Fantasy Island. I never seen the original TV show it was based on though, but they made it into a horror film. You know, Michael Pena is the guy who owns Fantasy Island and the whole thing, making your dreams become reality and all that. But mixed with that a horror twist to it. Especially as the guy who directed Kick-Ass 2 and Truth or Dare. wasn't a fan of those, and this guy's still getting directing stuff, so not a good film at all. Other ones. Artemis Fowl, which if that film came out in theaters, I guaranteed it would have been a big budget film, another big budget live action Disney film. I guaranteed it would have flopped. Like all the big ones like A Wrinkle in Time or Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Like those big budgeted fantasy Disney films, I guarantee it would have flopped. Even Tomorrowland as well. Like all those are big, huge flops, and I guarantee with a budget like that, I guaranteed it would have been a huge flop. Artemis Fowl. Let's see what else. What other stuff that I had. Well, Gretel and Hansel was forgettable. Not worth mentioning that. Oh, but they did some different. Oh, they switched the names around. Instead of Hansel and Gretel, it's Gretel and Hansel. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, it was that forgettable. I barely remember the movie now. So yeah, that's basically the honorable mentions I have. But getting to my top 5. Okay, number 5, and it's a shame because he starred in a really good film, which to me his best performance he's done in God knows how long. He really did a great job though, but now he's back doing another shitty comedy, Hubie Halloween. So yes, number 5, Hubie Halloween. Yes, Adam Sandler. Like I just said, Adam Sandler, he did a really great job in Uncut Gems. Really great job. You know, that's me. Like I said, his best performance he's done in years. And then he goes, I know the whole thing about what he said. Like, if that film doesn't, if he doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, he was gonna make a shitty movie a shitty comedy on purpose. And I guess he did that because he should have got some Oscar record. Well, he got a lot of praise from critics, you know, and I think he should have got an Oscar, possibly, you know. But he said he was gonna make another crap comedy on purpose, and he goes to do that now. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing these shitty Adam Sandler comedies, especially when he does those crappy voices, like he's doing like I just happy I hate to like that type of voice. I'm getting sick of hearing that, and especially with more shit jokes and more puke jokes, you know, and like he eats something that like either he drinks something that's like puking repetitively puking, and you get other appearances like Shaquille O'Neal, and once again Shaquille O'Neal. God dang, I'm tired of seeing Shaquille O'Neal. Just stop, you know. Don't do any more acting, please. I'm tired of seeing Shaquille O'Neal. Especially having to like talking in a feminine, acting feminine and all that. And Ben Stiller, he comes back. Oh, well, he doesn't come back, but he plays once again that orderly in Happy Gilmore. You know, who was badly mistreating the old folks in that old folks home. You know. Rather watch Happy Gilmore. That's my favorite Adam Sandler film. Rather watch Happy Gilmore, but. And this would be Steve Buscemi. What else? Rob Schneider. It's just. Well, speaking of Happy Gilmore, what was it? Julia Brown, who was the girl that Adam Sandler liked in Happy Gilmore. She's in this as well. I'm like, man. Yeah, I'm tired of him doing these shitty comedies. I'm sick and tired of them. I knew he meant it when he went to the Uncut Gems he was not going to get nominated for it, but he meant what he said, and he went to do another shitty comedy, Hubie Halloween. I'm tired of I do not want to see another Adam Sandler comedy like this again. I do not. I'm tired of such. I don't want him talking with that. I this type of accent or this type of voice he's doing. Just go and make another good film like he did with Uncut Gems. Great performance in Uncut Gems. He was great in Uncut Gems. So just go back and do more dramatic roles like that, or you know, like did with Punch Drunk Love. And I would even Reign Over Me with him and Don Cheadle. He had some dramatic acting performance in that too. Yeah, so just go back to try doing more dramas. You know, stretch that more out. You know, instead of doing more of these shitty comedies. You know, he hasn't done a good comedy in a long time. That's My Boy sucked. I hate Jack and Jill. The Ridiculous Six shit, which it was ridiculous, pun intended. What else? Blended. Any of these new comedies he's done, oh yeah, Pixels. Yeah, that's another one, Pixels. He's not done one good comedy like this in years. And Uncut Gems was a prime example. He showed he can do a great performance, dramatic role wise. I hate Hubie Halloween. It's another pickle. I would never want to see another crappy Adam Sandler comedy like that again. So that's number 5. Number 5. Now, number 4. Give me a second here. No, so as I was saying, number 4, Rogue. Not Rogue. No affiliation with the 2007 Killer Crocodile film named Rogue. Also. same name, just Rogue, which I rather watch that movie, which that took place in a country. Well, that was in Australia, but this one takes place in Africa. Yeah, Rogue, starring Megan Fox. I don't know what else to say. Well, I was like, what can I say about Meg? I can't stand Megan Fox. She cannot act for shit. I'm sorry. She cannot act for shit. She can't act her way out of a paper bag. I'm sorry. Never liked her in the Transformer movies. Never liked her, especially freaking Jennifer's Body. That's the epitome of her. You know, that's what she is. There, be a sex symbol basically. Especially for Jennifer's Body. Jeez. She is definitely like the top 5, one of the top 5 worst actresses, maybe top 3. And she is one of the worst actresses I've ever seen. You know, and I don't buy her as this tough mercenary. Okay, you see her. This is making me feel burp on this freaking movie now. I'm getting so backed up. I want to talk about these shitty movies. It's just funny how when I talk about bad films, I start getting all congested or sneezing or burping and all that shit. Because I'm allergic to all this bullshit I'm around, all these bad movies, bullshit movies I'm surrounded by. But I say Rogue. As I was saying, I don't buy her as this tough mercenary. You know, and especially dealing with a badly CGI lion, which it kills most of her team members, and also including innocent people as well. If I want to say about Killer Lion, I would rather go watch The Ghost in the Darkness with Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer. Talk about a killer lion, I would rather go watch The Ghost in the Darkness. Much better movie. And I think also that's another film that Jerry Goldsmith did the score for. That's also a very decent score from him. I'd rather watch that. For the most part, it looked like it was a real lion. For the most part, from what I remember. But here, yeah, it's a very piss poor CGI lion. Oh, it's a lioness, so it's a female lion. And you know, kill all these innocent people in most of Megan Fox's team, but the lion just gets away with it because it had babies. So just because it had baby cubs, that's not supposed to rectify for her getting away just before, even after killing innocent civilians. Even most of Megan Fox's team just gets away just because it has baby cubs. Bull crap. Okay. If it committed that many acts of murder, shoot it and make a rug out of it. So just because it killed all of his cubs, you're just willing to forgive and forget. And I don't buy Megan Fox as this tough mercenary. All right, I don't buy her basically as anything. All right, she's just basically there. Just for pretty looks. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's what she is for the Transformer films, especially Jennifer's Body. That's it. I never bought her for anything. I wish she just get off the screen for good. But here in 2020 she still gets work. And also, especially it's also from the director of Silent Hill Revelation, which I did not like either. I said her bad piss poor CGI lion, but it ends up getting away even though it killed a whole bunch of innocent people. Just because I had babies, bull crap. Yeah, Rogue, which I rather watch the Killer Crocodile film Rogue with was it Rhoda Mitchell and Sam Worthington. I'd rather watch that Rogue. That's a great Killer Crocodile film. I think it's actually I said it's one of my favorite Killer Crocodile movies. Yeah, I remember saying that long ago. Alligator is still good though, but it's an alligator, not a crocodile. Yeah, Rogue. I'd rather watch that Rogue, not this Rogue. So no more Megan Fox, and that's about it. And bad CGI lion. I'd rather go watch The Ghost in the Darkness instead. So that's number 4. Number 3. I'm just pausing because it was hard for me to decide which this was either number 3 or number 2. But I guess I'll have to go what I chose the first time. Yeah, because number 3 and number 2 could have gone both ways for me. But I'm sticking to what I have because the more I think about it, I'm going to be contradicting myself. So, but number 3 is Wonder Woman 1984. I expected not to like this one because I was not a fan of the first one. Although I'd rather put the first one above this one. Actually, I think it's better than this one. Actually, but yeah, Wonder Woman 1984. I didn't. To me, it's worse than the first one. Gal Gadot, another actress. I'm sorry, she doesn't impress me. I'm sorry, she did not impress me as Wonder Woman the first time. Definitely did not impress me the second time in this one either. Okay, and so many problems that I can explain. Number 1, it's way too long and boring. Boring and way too long. This film did not need to be 2.5 hours because that's the thing. Every other superhero film has to be every superhero film has to be over 2 hours long. Why can't this be short, like an hour and a half sometimes, or maybe at most hour and 45 minutes? I think Shazam was like around that time. I think hour 45 minutes. I think. But most superhero films nowadays are over 2 hours long. They don't need to be that long of a time. And especially this film did not need to be 2.5 hours long. In the first hour, nothing happens. There was barely action. You count except for when Wonder Woman was using the robe. I think it was attacking the White House. I think, and then there was all attack on the highway. We saw the truck flip. We saw in the trailer. And then the fight with Cheetah. And that's another thing. Cheetah, how she looks as the Cheetah, Kirsten Wiig, shit. Bad CGI once again. And the fight between her and Cheetah, or Cheetah and Wonder Woman, that's actually that CGI fight. That was as bad as the ending in Black Panther, when Black Panther fighting Killmonger in that suit. That was almost as bad CGI fight as the fight in this. And Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian from the show The Mandalorian, in which he also played Agent Whiskey from Kingsman: The Golden Circle. He's play Maxwell Lord. Basically, the Wishmaster. He becomes the Wishmaster. And there's a whole thing about wishes and all that. Which, funny thing is, I thought, well, not funny though, but it's very weird that when Wonder Woman wishes for Steve Trevor to come back, Chris Pine. It's just weird that other wishes, like I think some people when wishes were made, like some people were made. I think even cows were made as well, I do believe. But when it comes to Wonder Woman's wish to bring back Steve Trevor, it has to possess a guy. And then what happens with those two, they make out basically. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so she just basically just raped that possessed guy, basically. And just like, if it's like, it just reminds me, it's like, like the anime movie Your Name, when our two main characters, when they swap bodies. Just imagine if either one of if one character, one of those characters, had their when they're in either each other's body, and one of them did it without their consent. That would be like kind of like weird, basically. You know, your name. For some reason, it reminded me of that though, because either one of them will possess each other's body, and if one of them happens to do that though, without when they're in their switched bodies, I'm like, so kind of happened like that, you know. She basically did it without the person's consent, basically, when he was out, you know, out of his body, basically. That's just like weird and creepy. And like I say, it's boring, and even the villain, Maxwell Lord, he doesn't get, nothing comes of him, you know? He doesn't get no consequences of his actions, because he basically almost ended the world with everyone's wishes, and World War III starting. He doesn't get he doesn't get nothing of his actions. The consequences of his actions gets never brought up. You see him hugging with his kid. Nothing comes of it. Nothing comes of his actions, basically. So basically, what, he just gets away with it? Oh yeah, because he renounced his wish because of his kid, and because he had a kid, so he wants. And does this look like with Rogue? Like I mentioned with Rogue, you know, with the CGI lion. Although he basically killed a whole bunch of people. The lioness, basically, the female lion. Even though it killed a whole bunch of people, it had baby cubs, so it just goes and gets away with it. And it's like saying here, this guy because he has a kid, and then he just gets away with everything. He just gets away with almost ending the world, because you don't see him nothing. You don't see him get punished or charged no crime afterwards. And Kirsten Wiig. Which I knew from this first thing I saw. She's the nerdy girl, and then also when she gets the power, she's not the nerdy. Cliche, we've seen it done dozens of times. Selena Kyle from Batman Returns, Michelle Pfeiffer. Which honestly, that Catwoman is a better feline villain than this shit of a cheetah. I was like, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, better, if you want to talk about a feline villain. Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, better. Hell, as bad as Catwoman, the 2004 film with Halle Berry, as bad as that film is, especially the bad CGI, I don't think the bad CGI, well, first she was wearing a suit, she had a suit on, but still, the CGI cheetah, Kirsten Wiig as the cheetah figure, is worse than it looks like in the 2004 Catwoman movie. As bad as that film was, but the CGI as Kirsten Wiig is in the cheetah form looks even worse. And I wasn't growing up. I did not read no Wonder Woman's comics, so I'm not sure how versed in the comics, fate of the comics it is. And this is funny that even though with Wonder Woman, when she uses her wish, she's losing her powers, but yet she has enough energy or powers to turn this plane invisible with her and Chris Pine go fly on, right? So she has enough powers to turn this invisible. Well, she's losing her powers, but she has enough to do that. And she never uses that again. She never uses that power again. Let alone, the funny thing is, by the end of the movie, she learns how to fly. Which, why did she use that in Batman v Superman or Justice League? So, yeah, she learns, she flies, but she doesn't fly in Justice League or Batman v Superman. I mean, you write stuff in this movie, you don't make it follow up with the other previous movies. You know? Probably because when the time those films come out, they didn't probably think of that when before they made this movie. Yes, she flies, but that's never brought up in Justice League, which she used to fight with Steppenwolf or Batman v Superman to fight against Doomsday. And she never uses the ability to make things invisible either. Like, she make it to the plane invisible, why can't she make herself invisible? Or make anything else invisible? Why can't she, like make Batman or Superman invisible or something like that. I know for the fact that she did have an invisible jet in the comics or something. I know she had an invisible jet though, but wasn't it already invisible, or she had to touch it to make it invisible, like in the comics? I don't know. Because like I said, I never read no Wonder Woman's comics, so. And sadly, the best part of this movie was Linda Carter's cameo at the end, like during the mid credits. Yeah, so Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman from the TV show Wonder Woman, when she did like the little wink of the camera. Linda Carter, she still has the more charisma than Gal Gadot does. I'm sorry. Even the little joke that she had, which she said in Sky High at the end of the movie, when she said, "I'm not Wonder Woman, you know." That joke right there that joke about Wonder Woman is much funnier than any humor in this movie. Yeah, so that little crack of humor she said in Sky High is better than any humor in this entire movie. Goddamn. I knew it was and this is something because I liked 2019. I liked Shazam, and I really liked Joker. Joker was one of my top 10 favorites of 2019. I like Joker. So if people criticize say, "Oh, you don't like any new DC films," well, I just pointed two right there for you. Shazam, which is in the DC universe. Behold, a DC extended universe film I liked. Shazam. And even Joker is not canon to that though, but I liked Joker a lot. That was a film I thought I was not gonna like, but turns out I loved Joker. Joaquin Phoenix did a great job. So you can't say that, "Oh, I don't like DC." I just pointed two new ones from 2019 that I just pointed out. Wonder Woman, 1984, sucked big time. And I'll probably say, yeah, Birds of Prey, I say is better than this. Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn's movie, I'm not a fan, but I don't think it was, well, not as boring as this movie, because this film did not need to be 2.5 hours. It was much more boring, and in the first hour, nothing happens. And better villain, Ian McGregor as Black Mask. He was a much better villain than either villains of Cheetah or Maxwell Lord in this movie here. Because at least Ian McGregor, it looked like, because I like him as an actor, it looked like he was having fun in the role. That's what it looked like to me. And he was the best part of that movie. Man. So yeah, I'll save all this stuff from the rant for if I would do a big rant on Wonder Woman 84. So I'll stop right here because I was thinking it's gonna be going lagging and a lot of gagging along. So number 3, Wonder Woman 1984. So yeah, number 2, Dolittle, which is the first big rant I did in early. Basically around this time in January 2020. You can check out my rant on that. Dolittle, Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Dolittle, and honestly, I'd rather watch the Eddie Murphy Dr. Dolittle's 1 and 2 more than this. I'd rather watch those than this. This was another massive flop. Once again, another big budgeted film released in January. That was a huge flop. I don't know how many times the Hollywood has to do when they release these big budgeted movies in January. And they flop. I don't know what they're gonna think that's even plausible to release a big budget movie in the middle of a winter of January when you think it's gonna make a big huge success. Although you do get a surprising occasion sometimes. Bad Boys for Life. Which also came out in January last year. That was surprisingly a huge hit that came out in January, so that just totally surprised me. So yeah, you do get those rare occurrences in January where films can be successful that big. but 99% of the time they flop. You know, Monster Trucks, 2017, that was a huge flop. Sadly, prime example, right over my right shoulder, right there where I'm pointing at. It was not a huge flop. It was not a huge budget like those films were, but still came out in January and that flopped. Deep Rising. That was a big flop right there at that time. You know, you can't just keep releasing big films like those in January. They end up flopping. That's the same. Doolittle. This for a $175 million movie. The CGI animals did not impress me, especially some of the voice guys, especially John Cena, where he's voicing a polar bear. Did he say a line? Did he say we was talking to like another animal and he's like, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" I know I heard that line in that movie. I think it was John Cena's polar bear that said it. I'm like, don't you dare reference Rush Hour. Come on, don't even do reference like Chris Tucker's version. Don't even bring up Rush Hour, okay? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I do believe it was that character that said to another animal. So yeah, don't even reference Rush Hour, okay? Rush Hour, the movie Rush Hour, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker can run circles around this movie. Let alone Chris Tucker's mouth can run circles around this movie. So yeah, don't even bring up Rush Hour. Don't remind me of a good film that I'd rather be watching than this. And there was also a point where Tom Holland, Spider-Man, he voices a dog. I forget. Did he piss on the carpet as well? Did he piss on someone? I forget. It's something like that happened, I think. And Robert Downey Jr. This is after when he died. After when he dies as Iron Man, he goes to do this crap now. I understand that. I understand this is one of it. This was a project he wanted to do. I understand that though, but by the end result though, I'm sorry. And he was trying to do like what type of accent he was doing? It said it was like a Welsh accent. And Antonio Banderas has nothing to do in this movie. Not much to do. And the humor, like I said, was piss poor. Especially the one scene at the end where Robert Downey Jr.'s Doolittle is helping a dragon, and he's literally pulling stuff out of its ass, you know, because it was hurting. The dragon was hurting, so Doolittle was literally pulling stuff out of a dragon's ass. You see, like he was pulling out armor. I think it was a set of armor, even bagpipes. I'm like, why bagpipes? And then to the point where the dragon, after that, the dragon literally farts in Doolittle's face. At that point, I was like this. I just immediately when I put my hands in my face and go like this. So that's what I saw. A huge dragon just literally farts in Robert Downey Jr.'s face, and after pulling up armor and bagpipes. I think that was the reason why it was hurting, because it was mainly the bagpipes. I mean, why bagpipes? I have no idea. So I think the more I think about it, especially with that scene right there, that's maybe why I put this at number two in my list. And he was like, you can check back on my rant on Doolittle. You can check it out. So I don't need to go full details, but yeah, Doolittle is number 2. It was already my worst list of 2020 during that time, and it stuck with it. So that's number 2. Now getting on to number 1. And so finally, number 1, which another film to ruin another franchise. Bill and Ted Face the Music, or Bill and Ted 3. So 30 years later, this is what we get. I mean, do we need a third Bill and Ted in the first place? A lot of franchises they do that, they continue, they dig up another franchise, that's why years later they make another one and it ends up being bad. Which, although I can really say it because earlier in 2020, I said it once again, Bad Boys for Life. That was years after Bad Boys 2, and guess what? I liked it. I surprisingly enjoyed Bad Boys for Life. But like I said, like I said with other stuff, 99% times they don't do they just suck. And 30 years later, this is what we get for our Bill and Ted film. And you got the guy Dean, I forget what his last name was. He did Galaxy Quest. I like Galaxy Quest. Another positive I can say about this film, Alex Winter coming back. You know, he did a good job. But sadly, on the flip side, Keanu Reeves, I'm sorry, he cannot play Ted anymore. You know, it's been how many? It's been 30 like 30 years now. Oh, I think it was 91 or 90 since Bogus Journey came out. So yeah, it was basically 30 years. And he can't do the character anymore. I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves, but he's been long distance from that character he played. He can't play Ted anymore. He just can't. I watch him like, this is hurting me to watch. You know, he cannot do the character anymore. He just can't. And on top of that, you know, I enjoy Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I enjoy Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And how Bogus Journey ended was great to me. And how they saved the world. You had that little montage at the end. And the song, you know, guy gave rock and roll to. That was a good song. But by this time though, now they basically retconned the second film. So now they're back to being losers now. And the daughters, I never gave a shit about. And they do the time travel, and you even hear them narrate both at the beginning and at the end. So it's basically not really Bill and Ted's movie, for what I saw. And just, you know, you still need to make another movie, especially that's like only 30 years later. You didn't, and it wasn't really that. And it definitely looked cheaper than the previous two films. Just when I saw the trailer, it looked cheaper. God. Another series that one film comes out years later and just basically ruins a franchise. When is Hollywood ever gonna learn? They need to stop doing these, but no. God. I'll have to review that. I have to review this series now, sometime later down the road, because I enjoyed the first two films, and I want to save this to get a full rant on this, though, because I just need to. But yeah, number one is Bill and Ted 3 or Bill and Ted Face the Music. Retconning stuff, basically the second film, the ending of the second film doesn't matter. Back to being losers and group therapy, I think it was. Keanu Reeves, he cannot do his character of Ted anymore. And the effects is not that good, basically. The daughters did not give a shit about. Yeah. This is sorry to talk about it because I enjoy the first two films. That's the thing. They always do these with franchises until they screw it up. They always do. But hey, like I said, Bad Boys for Life didn't do that though, surprisingly. But I say that's a very rare occurrence. But 99% they always screw up. The franchises always get screwed up like this. You do get that rare occurrence though, but for most times it sucks. Yeah, Bill and Ted Face the Music. Just this big pile of garbage, shit, basically. Alex Winter was good once again as Bill, but Keanu Reeves not as Ted anymore. Cheaper effects. That's what it looked like. And basically retconning the second film. It's basically an insult to the second film, which I did enjoy. So it reminds me of like Rise of Skywalker. You know, they tried retconning The Last Jedi, but it's too late now. The damage has already been done. But yeah, but that's the number one film. So if I want to go into full details, I'll do when I go full rant on it, though. But that's my top 5 worst films of 2020. So number 5, what was it again? Yeah, number 5, Hubie Halloween. Number 4, Rogue. Number 3, Wonder Woman 1984. Number 2, Dolittle. And then number 1, Bill and Ted 3. Yeah, I could have... The honorable mentions, that's not worth making a top 10 because there wasn't much too many maybe making me mad, really make me mad movies like these 5 films were. So that's why didn't really full make a top 10 list this year. Because you know, I didn't watch that too many films that came out this year because we all know why. But yeah, I don't even think I make my top 10 list of 20 best films of 2020 either. I think it should be like 7 or 6, I think. Yeah, or around there. So yeah, I'm not gonna have a top 10 best list next year of last year. So yeah, but that's my top 5 worst films of 2020. So once I recap: Hubie Halloween. Number 4, Rogue. Number 3, Wonder Woman 1984. Number 2, Dolittle. Number 1, Bill and Ted 3. So I hope you enjoyed my this video. That's my top 5 worst films of 2020. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my top favorite best list of best films of 2020. Stay tuned for that, and we'll see you later.